Okay guys, so today we will be solving bitwise operators. Let's start. Now the author of this problem is Aditi Dayal. 9 difficulty level is easy. The maximum score is 15 and it has been submitted by around 80,072 people. So the problem statement says in this challenge you will use logical bitwise operators. All data is stored in its binary representation. Okay, so we are going to use bitwise operators and the data stored is binary, right? The logical operators and C language use 1 to represent true and 0 to represent false. This is the case with most languages. 1 is used to represent true value and 0 is used to represent false value. The logical operators compare bits in two numbers and return true or false, 0 or 1 for each bit compared. Okay, the job of logical operators is to compare bits in two numbers and give us a result which is either true or it is false. Okay, for each bit compared. Now, the first one is bitwise AND operator. The output of bitwise AND is 1, that is true, if the corresponding bits of two operands is 1. If either bit of an operand is 0, the result of corresponding bit is evaluated to 0. It is denoted by AND. Okay, so this is the symbol of bitwise AND operator, and the bitwise AND operator gives us the value 1 when both the operands have value 1, which means if both the operands, the numbers on which we are operating, if both have true value, only then will we have the value of AND operator as true, right? If any one of them is 0, we get the value 0, right? Bitwise OR operator, the output of bitwise OR operator is 1 if at least one corresponding bit of two operands is 1. It is denoted by this sign, okay, a bar, okay. The bitwise XOR operator, exclusive OR operator, represented by this triangular sign. The result of bitwise XOR operator is 1 if the corresponding bits of two operands are opposite. It is denoted by this one, okay, plus around inside a circle. Now here we have an example. This will clear things up for you. 3 is represented like this in binary. We know that binary is base 2, okay, so 2 to the power of 0 multiplied by 1 is we have 1, and 2 to the power of 1 multiplied by 1 is we have 2, so 2 plus 1 is 3. Okay, so this is the representation of 3 in binary. Similarly, we have the representation of 5 like this in binary. 2 to the power of 0 multiplied by 1 is 1, 2 to the power of 1 multiplied by 0 is 0, and 2 to the power of 2 multiplied by 1 is 4. So 4 plus 1 here is 5. This is the binary representation of 3. Now we do 3 operations: AND operation, OR operation, and exclusive OR operation on these two values. Okay, AND, OR, and XOR operations are done on the binary values. Always remember this. This is done on the binary values of numbers. Okay, so here we have the calculation for AND operation. 1, 1, both are 1, so we will have 1. AND operation outputs true only if both the values are true. Okay, in the second column we have 1 and 0, so it will be 0. Since any case where we have at least one 0 will output 0 in AND operation, we have this column value as 0. In the next column we also have 0, and in the columns after that all will be 0, since all of them are 0 values. Now this outputs one value. Okay, so this binary value that we are getting, the decimal representation of this binary value will be 1. Okay, so this is the base 2 representation and this is the base 10 representation. What we use in the number system is the base 10 representation, or we can call it the decimal system. Okay, now we do the OR operation. OR operation outputs true value, that is one value, if any one of those two values is 1. Okay, so we need only one true value to get the output true. Okay, so here we have both true values, so this will obviously be 1. In the second column we have a single one value, we have 1 as the result, since we only need one true value. In the third column as well, it is the similar case. After that, all of them are 0, so we need at least one true value for the result to be true in the below row. Okay, so here we have all 0 values, so this is 0. After the third column we have all zeros. Now this binary representation belongs to 7. Okay, this is the decimal representation and this is the binary representation. Similarly, for XOR operation, we have 1 1, both the values of operands are 1. XOR operation outputs true value only if both the operands have different values, which means either 0 and 1 or 1 and 0. Okay, so in this case both the values are similar, same, 1 1, so this will output false, 0. Okay, in the second column we have 1 and 0, both are different, so we have true value 1. Okay, in the third column it is the same, 0 and 1 we have, and then we output true since only need difference. Okay, these are different, so we get the value true. After the third column, all of them are 0 0, so all of them are same, so that will output false value, which is 0. Now this binary representation belongs to 6. Okay, this is the decimal representation and this is the binary representation of 6. Okay, you will be given an integer n and a threshold k. So there are two numbers. First one is integer n, both are integer types obviously, and the second number k is a threshold, which means a limit. Okay, limit to something. Now here we have a complicated sentence. I will read it for you. For each number I from 1 through n, so we have a counter I. First we have a counter I here. Okay, we have a counter I, then we have the range of 1 through n. Okay, 1 is the starting point and n is the ending point. N integer, this is the ending point. Okay, this is 1 and this is n. Okay, find the maximum value of the logical AND, OR and XOR, these three operators, when compared against all integers through n that are greater than I. Okay, so we have to compare all the possible integer values which are less than n with each other, and only when the value of the first one is lesser than the value of the second one, and the limit of that is k. Okay, consider a value only if the comparison returns a result less than k. Okay, so we have to consider the output only if its value is less than k. After the operation of these three, AND, OR and XOR, what we get, we consider that only if its value is less than k. Okay, so k is the threshold, remember, this is the limit. Now we print the results of the AND, OR and exclusive OR comparisons on separate lines, right? The first line will contain the value of the result of the AND operator, second line will contain the result of OR operator, and the third line will contain the result of the XOR operator. Now we see with an example what we mean by this. Okay, this problem statement, this objective. The example here is n is equal to 3, k is equal to 3. So this is our first integer, this is our second integer, and the second integer is the limit, and n signifies what possible values we have for our operations. Okay, on what numbers we can do operations. So the numbers available to us are 1, 2 and 3. Since the value of n is 3, we can do operations on 1, 2 and 3. Okay, so here we are doing operations on 1, 2 and 3. Now remember the condition that a should always be less than b. Okay, so here will be having three cases, because if a is equal to 1, we can have two possible values, b is equal to 2 and b is equal to 3. It cannot be greater than 3. 3 is the limit. Okay, since n is equal to 3, so we only have the possibilities till 3, and a must be less than b. Okay, now these two possible values are for a is equal to 1, and we have one possible value for a is equal to 2. When a is equal to 2, b can only be 3. Okay, now we do the AND operation on 1 and 2, we get the value 0. We do the OR operation, we get 3. We do the exclusive OR operation, we get 3. Similarly, for the second case, we get 1, 3 and 2 for AND, OR and exclusive OR operations respectively. Similarly, for the third operation, we get the values of 2, 3 and 1 for the AND, OR and XOR operation respectively. Right, now for the AND operation, we can have the greatest value. Out of these, we will have the greatest value, which is 2. For the AND operation, this column has 0, 1 and 2. 2 is the greatest. So we will consider this and we'll check whether or not it is less than 3, since k is equal to 3 is the limit. Now 2 is the highest number in this column and it is also less than 3, so we'll print that in the first line. 2 is printed here. In the second line, all of the values are 3, so the value should be less than k. Okay, k is equal to 3, the value should be less than 3, but all of these are equal to 3, so we will not consider any of these three results for the OR operation and will output 0. Okay, now for the third operation, the XOR operation, we have 3, 2 and 1, the highest being 3, but the value 3 is equal to k, so we cannot consider that. So the next highest value becomes 2, so we will output this. Okay, in the third line we have the output 2. Here it is written the same thing. For the AND comparison, the maximum is 2. For the OR comparison, none of the values is less than k, so the maximum is 0. For the exclusive OR comparison, the maximum value is less than k is 2. Okay, so this one was not considered for the exclusive OR comparison, and we have the next largest value as 2, so we output that. The function should print 2, 0 and 2. Okay, in 3 lines, one after the other. The function description is given. Compute the calculate the maximum function in the editor below. So we already have a function declared inside the editor whose name is calculate the maximum, and calculate the maximum has the following parameters. First parameter is integer type n, the highest number to consider this, and the second type of parameter is integer k. K is the name of that parameter. The result of a comparison must be lower than this number to be considered. So this is our limit, right? This one was our threshold. Here it was mentioned. Right? Where is k? Where is k? Okay, here we have threshold k, right? Here we have threshold k, and next we have the input, the print format. Print the maximum values for the AND, OR and exclusive OR comparisons, each on a separate line. We already know that. Now input format is the only line contains two space separated integers n and k. So we only have two integers as our input, and the constraints are n belongs to 2 to 1000, both are included. K belongs to 2 to n, both are included, right? The sample input is 5 and 4. The sample output is 2, 3 and 3. Now we'll see how that came about. Okay, so first we have n is equal to 5 here, and we have k is equal to 4 here, right? So the possible values of numbers on which we are doing the operations are 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Okay, and 4 is the limit of the result. The result of the operations that we do on the set of numbers, this set of numbers, must be less than 4. Okay, not even equal to 4, it must be less than 4 to be considered as a result, right? Now the possible set of values, here we have 10 set of values. Okay, 10. This one was our set of numbers on which we will be doing our operations, and this is the all possible values of a and b that can be considered for AND, OR and exclusive OR operations. Now how these values came, I'll explain that here. Now we had the set as 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, right? We had S is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, right? And we have all these possible values. We had 10 possible values here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 possible values. Now here I'll explain how this came. First we consider the number 1. Okay, A is the number 1. Here we have A comma B. Same here. A comma B. Again A comma B, and then again we have A comma B. Okay, so first we consider the value of A as 1. Now A must be less than B at all times, and we only have this set of values to decide B from. Now what are the numbers that are greater than 1 and belong to this set? Those numbers are 2, 3, 4 and 5. So we'll have 4 possibilities with the value of A is equal to 1. So this is the first possibility. A is equal to 1, B is equal to 2. Second one is A is equal to 1 and B is equal to 3. Third one is A is equal to 1 and B is equal to 4. And fourth one is A is equal to 1 and B is equal to 5. Remember, this came because we have to keep A less than B. And there is no number less than 1 here. Okay, and the second column contains 3 options. Let's see how this came. The first number that we decided was A is equal to 1. We increase this by 1 and we go to A is equal to 2. Okay, A is equal to 2. Now we check what are the numbers in this set that are greater than 2. So 1 is not greater than 2, so it is not considered, and 3, 4 and 5 are greater than 2, so there will be 3 possibilities, 3, 4 and 5. So 2 is coupled with 3, 2 with 4, 2 with 5, right? So these numbers are the numbers that we will do operations upon. So we'll do operations on 1 and 2, like 1 and 2, 1 or 2, 1 XOR 2, like that. Okay, similarly we have 3 as A, then we have 4 and 5 greater than 3 that belong to this set. So 3, 4, 3, 5. This is 2 possibilities. Then we increase A again, the value of A becomes 4, and the only number left in this set that is greater than 4 is 5. So we'll have only 1 possibility. So all these numbers combined will have complete 10 possibilities. These are 4, 3, 2 and 1. 4 plus 3 7 plus 2 9 plus 1 10. So total 10 possibilities of numbers. Now let's calculate how these came. Okay, so first we'll write it down serially, this all. So 1 and 2 operations, and operation is resulting 0, OR operation is resulting 3, and the exclusive OR operation is resulting 3. So you don't have to manually do the operations like here we did in the binary form. You don't have to do this manually. It will be really tedious. You can let the computer do that. You just have to write the code for these operations. Okay, so similarly for all these cases we'll have some results for all operators. Now we'll check the maximum value that we are getting for AND, for OR and for exclusive OR, right? So first we check in the AND column. The largest value here we have is 4. Here we have 4 in the 10th possibility of calculations, and since we want the value of the result to be less than k is equal to 4, so the value of 4 won't be considered, since 4 is not less than 4 is equal to 4. So we need a number that is less than 4 and is the next highest in this column. So we obviously have 2 here. This is less than k and this is the next highest in this AND column. Okay, So 2 will be considered, so 2 will be printed on the first line. Similarly, we will consider the highest number here. The highest number in this OR column will be 7, but it is greater than 4, the value of k, so it will not be considered. The next highest value is 6, it is also greater than k is equal to 4, so this will also not be considered. The next highest value is 5, which is also greater than k is equal to 4, so this will also be discarded. And the next value we have no 4, and we have the next highest value as 3. Okay, so 3 is less than k is equal to 4, and this is the next highest value, so 3 will be considered. In the third column, the exclusive OR column, we have the highest values 7, 6, 5 and 4. All of these will be discarded since they are either greater than or equal to 4, which we do not want. So the next highest value is 3. Okay, the next highest value is 3, and it is also less than 4, so 3 will be printed. So first we have 2, then we have 3, then we have 3. Right, here it is written the same thing. The maximum possible value of a and b, that is also less than k is equal to 4, is 2, so we print 2 on the first line. The maximum possible value of a or b, that is also less than k is equal to 4, is 3, so we print the number 3 on second line. The maximum possible value of a XOR b, that is also less than k is equal to 4, is 3, so we print 3 on the third line. So the output will be 2, 3 and 3. Okay, like that. Now we have to write the code for what we already did there, right? So let's just paste the code, and I'll explain each and every line how that works. Okay, so first we have declared two variables. This is already done for us. Okay, so this code was already done for us. Two integers n and k were already declared. The input was already taken, and we had this calculate the maximum function with the parameters. Now we have to write the code for this function. Okay, so this is a void function. This has two parameters. The first one is integer and the second one is integer k. So we will get this from here, scanf, and we write the code here. Let's paste it and see what we are doing each and every line. Okay, so first we write the code for declaration. Okay, we are declaring integers. There are a total of 8 integers. The first one is a, the second one is j. These are counters for the loop. Okay, and these three are max 1 is equal to 0, max 2 is equal to 0, max 3 is equal to 0. Here we will store the maximum values that we are getting after the operations of those numbers. Okay, and then we have and, or and XOR. These are variables, these are not operations. Okay, these are names for the variables where we are storing the result. Okay, the result for each calculation. Okay, here we can see the result for each calculation. Now all these variables are declared. Now we have to use those variables. So we have a for loop inside a for loop. First we start with I is equal to 0. Okay, I is starting from 0 and I is less than equal to n. Okay, so we remember n was our limit for the possible set of values. 5, we have n is equal to 5, so the possible set of values will be 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, right? So it will go till 5, which means less than or equal to, both are possible, right? Now then we run the loop and we increase the value of I by 1. Okay, so after each loop I will be incremented by 1. Okay, I's value will be increased by 1. Now we go inside this for loop, we get the second for loop which has j as the counter. So j will be starting from I plus 1. Now this happens because the value of b must be higher than a at all times. So here we see when a is 1, the value of b starts from 2. When a is 2, the value of b starts from 3. When a is 3, the value of b starts from 4. Okay, so since b is always at least 1 higher than a, we have to initialize j is equal to I plus 1. when I is equal to 0, j will start from 1. Okay, now j is also less than equal to n, since we cannot go higher than n, and after this loop j will also increase by 1. Okay, j plus plus is for that. And then we have the values of I and j, and we do the AND operation and we store that result that we are getting inside this variable named AND. Okay, we do the OR operation on these two values and we store that inside OR. We do the exclusive OR operation and we store that inside XOR. These are variables, AND, OR and XOR. These are variable names that we declared here. Okay, now we write 3 if statements to check whether or not what we are getting is the maximum possible value that we can get. Okay, so first if statement checks two things. The first operation is maximum 1 less than AND. So if the maximum 1 value which is initialized to 0 is less than AND, so the possible value of the AND operator must be greater than maximum 1. Okay, so this will be replaced, and we also have one condition with that. Remember, k was our threshold value, the limit value, right? So it must be, the maximum value must be also less than k. Okay, only then can we replace the value of maximum 1 with AND. So for example, if the value of AND comes out to be 3, we check whether or not maximum is less than AND, which is 3, right? So maximum 1 is initialized to 0, so 0 is less than 3. So the possible value that we can get with the AND operation is 3, and we had initialized it to 0. So the maximum possible value is currently 3, so we'll replace 0 by 3. And it also must be less than k. Let's suppose in this case is 5, so 3 is less than 5. Both these conditions are satisfied, so we do the replacement operation. Maximum 1 is replaced by AND. Similarly, for the OR operation, if maximum 2 is less than OR, and this, remember, this is logical AND. These two signs, we have two signs here because this is the logical AND. Here we have the bitwise AND. Okay, a single sign means bitwise AND, double sign means logical. Okay, now in the OR if statement, we have similar conditions. If maximum 2 is less than OR, double AND, which is logical AND, or less than k. So these two conditions must be satisfied. Let's say the value of OR comes out to be 4. Okay, so 4 is greater than maximum 2, which is 0 currently. Okay, and 4 is also less than 5. Here we supposed the value of k is 5. So this will be replaced. Maximum 2 will be replaced by the value of OR. Similarly, we have the code for the exclusive OR cases. If maximum 3 value is less than OR, maximum 3 is initialized to 0. Maximum 3 is less than OR XOR. So let's suppose the value of XOR is also 4. So this condition is satisfied. First condition is satisfied. 0 is obviously less than 4. And we have the value of 4 less than 5. We have supposed the value of k is equal to 5. Here I should write k is equal to 5. This is we supposed, okay, that we got as input. And we have the value of maximum 3 as 4. We supposed that we got the output of maximum XOR 3 as 3. Okay, XOR is equal to 3. We suppose this is the output and it is less than k. So this one condition is also satisfied. This one condition is also satisfied. So we go to this statement and we replace the value of max 3, which is currently 0, by XOR, which is 4. Sorry, here will be 4. We are assuming that that as 4. So we'll replace that max 3 is equal to 4. So our result will be currently the value of maximum 1 will be 3. We supposed that the value AND is 3, and maximum 2 will be 4, and we have maximum 3 is equal to also 4. Okay, this is all only for representation. These statements are only for representation for your better understanding. These three statements, right? After these comparisons, we move again to the value of I increased by 1, which happens here. You can see which happens. First we have I is equal to, remember in this case we had A and B. Here we are representing the same thing with I and J. Okay, here we have AB and here we have IJ, both are same thing, right? So we increase the value of I by 1 in the next loop, which is you can see here the value of A is increased by 1 in the next loop. Here A was 1, here A is 2. Okay, and I am considering that all the cases for the larger value than I are executed. This inside for loop is executed at least until the value of j is less than equal to n, which means we have these four possibilities. One, the value of I is 1, then we have the value of j as 2, 3, 4 and 5, right? So this loop will execute, four times, right? For the first case, when I is equal to 1, is we have this loop executing 4 times, right? And then we have the value of I increasing by 1, which basically means the value of I increasing by 1, which basically means the value of A increasing by 1. Here we have A is equal to 1, which means I is equal to 1, and here it increases to 2. Okay, now with the 2 we will have 3 possibilities, right? When I becomes 2, then we have 3 possibilities. The value of 3, 4 and 5, right? The value of j can be 3, 4 and 5, since it is starting from after 1 greater than I, and it is going to the same limit n. Okay, so for the second loop we will have 3 possibilities. Similarly, for the next loop of I, we have 2 possibilities, and then we have 1 possibility at last. Okay, now this loop is completely executed. The outer for loop executes around n times, and the inner for loop executes n minus 1 times. After all this happens, okay, we get the maximum possible values of the AND operation out of all the numbers, and we also get the maximum possible values for maximum 2 and maximum 3. Remember, these loops will evaluate 10 operations, right? These 10 possible operations, these loops will execute. Okay, and when we have the values of max 1, max 2 and max 3, we print them in separate lines. So first we have the printf statement for max 1, then max 2 and then max 3. Remember, printf is used in C for outputting some values onto the screen, and we have the %d inside double quotes to represent that we are printing an integer. We have \n for representing the moving to next line. This represents that we will print the next value in the next line. So maximum 2 will be printed in the next line. This means the maximum 3 value will be printed in the next line. So these 3 values will be printed in their individual lines. We'll erase this code. This was only for your understanding. This does not mean anything. Let's erase this. Okay, we have our code, and now we'll run it, right? We'll run it and see how this works. Let's run the code. Okay guys, so we are running the code. Let's see how it comes out. Okay, so there is a compilation error on line 36. Okay, so we had a problem here. We had 2 brackets. We had to erase 1 bracket. Let's run the code again. Okay, the sample test case has been passed. Now let's submit the code. So there are 14 test cases. All of them are processing, and it's taking time. Okay, a few test cases are failing. Let's see the test cases. What are those test cases? 4 and 3. Expected output. The compiler has wrong answers. Let us evaluate this once again. Okay, there was a slight mistake in our code. That is why we had 4 failed cases. Okay. Now I'll show you what the error was. We were starting this loop with 0. The counter I was supposed to start with 1. Here we see the value of A starts from 1. Okay, it goes on to 4. Right? Now here we had the value of I is equal to 0. We'll replace this with I is equal to 1. And we'll submit the code again. Now let's see how this works. Okay, all of the test cases have been passed successfully. We had 14 test cases. So I'll see you in the next video. Till then, take care. Bye bye.